Stand-up is basically fucking therapy. Like, we're all going through some bloody daddy issues or something, aren't we? You know what I mean? Oh, I didn't get enough attention as a kid. Love me, strangers. You know, it's all that bullshit. Something went wrong. Yeah. We're all a little broken. You know what I mean?
So today we're talking about comedy, and we've got a seasoned comic here to talk about that. Cam Knight.
I don't know anything. I'm really sorry in advance. I've learnt nothing from my 16 years in the business.
How do you think like funny translates? So do you think like people who are just funny by nature, do you think that how do you think that works into like stand-up comedy? Because obviously stand-up comedy is a whole skill set unto itself, and just being funny isn't enough.
I don't know. There's a thing that people say about certain comedians that they have funny bones, like it's in them.
Okay.
And then there are other people who like work really, really hard trying to craft the perfectly, that perfectly structured sentence or bit.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, look. There's always that guy at work, who, in an environment like an office or something, that he's a wacky guy. He's got all the jokes. He's funny, and everyone's like, you should be a comedian.
Yeah, exactly.
And no, like they probably not. Maybe like 6 times out of 10 they shouldn't, or 7 times out of 10 they shouldn't.
Yeah.
The others, definitely give it a go, but because it usually is just they'll get up and just tell jokes or say something racist or overtly sexist, and
or like
just
shocking, or
just do shock factor stuff and go guy they shouldn't do it. I just thought it was this magical world that.
Did you sort of like get the bug?
It happened.
Yeah.
But I didn't start doing stand-up until much later because I was scared of it. I didn't think I was very funny.
How old were you at that point?
17. I was still 17. Then I turned 18, and I started myself, David Williams, and another one of the girls, Sally Bull, started an improv troupe, and we were performing down there, and we were called the Freudian Slips, and we were doing just that whose line is it sort of shit.
Yep.
And that was just it. I was just kind of... So I was already around it. I was still studying acting. But then this sort of happened. And then even when I finished up studying acting, I moved to Melbourne. And in my head, I was still going to be this actor.
Yeah.
And I think I took myself way too seriously. But then it wasn't until Dave moved from Adelaide to Melbourne again and we started living together, and I was going to comedy gigs with him. And then he just behind my back booked a gig one night and just
for
went,
you.
Yeah, he goes, you're on tonight. And I was like,
did you have any material?
And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have any gear. And he's like, no, you're funny. You just be you. Just be you. You're fucking hilarious. And I was like, that's
terrifying.
Bullshit, I can't do that. I'm not going to get up and go, hey, so this is what sort of personality I have in my household. Do you like it or not?
Yeah.
I ended up doing, it was just for 5 minutes, which felt like an eon.
Yeah.
At that time, just think, that is like the longest amount of time ever.
Yeah.
So long. Whereas now it just goes like that.
Yeah.
But I was petrified. And for some reason, I don't know, it went okay. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It wasn't anything. It was just a thing. It happened. But I sort of loved it and went, oh, maybe I should do this again. And
after you, because there's part of me that feels the same way. There's part of me that, and I think you and I, we talked about this a while ago, when I drove you in an Uber.
That's how it happens, guys. You never know who you're going to meet in your Uber. You should always give them a high star rating.
Correct. But
that's getting snipped, isn't it? No, that's good. It's good publicity for Uber. They're a good service. I caught one to get here today. And then you know what? It's your little young 21-year-old, 22-year-old brain getting laughs, and there's girls in the room. And then that ego takes over, and you're like, "This is fucking great." And then
I'm a rock star.
Yeah, right. And then there's you can gig every night, and usually you get a few beers for free, and even that's cool when you're 22. You're free beers is awesome. You got to die a lot.
Yeah. Did you have
You know?
you know how there's always like the really famous like bombing stories? Like Chappelle talks about like it made him fearless. The first time he had nothing but success, he finally bombed hard, and he was like, it made me bulletproof, because then he was like, everyone's booing, it's not that bad.
Right.
Like, did you have that like sort of seminal experience of like just the dead bomb?
I've never had like a full boo festival. Like no one's ever
Okay.
like booed the shit out of me. But I had a really, really awful gig years ago. It was like my first ever festival club spot for Melbourne Comedy Festival, and
Yeah.
it wasn't good.
And because it is an occupational hazard, obviously.
Bombing.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Dying
like
is totally,
you know, like
yes.
it's like any job. There's the thing that you don't want to happen. That's the thing you don't want to happen if you're a stand-up.
I live two fears of death, like a stage death and my actual death.
How has having a family changed it for you? Like, has it changed your comedy at all?
Yeah.
And do you look back, like you said about being sexist? Do you look back and cringe at anything?
Yeah, I do. I cringe at like a lot of my stuff. I cringe at that set that I did I cringe at the set that I did for that festival club set. There's some things that I cringe at that I used to do. Absolutely. It's not that I'm ashamed of myself and I don't want my kids to see that, but I just feel like that was just a guy trying to get to know himself and work himself out anyway, and just did it on stage. Like,
I was going to say, you're doing it in a very public
It's a very
way.
public way of doing it, and it's odd to do it like that, but you know, that's kind of what it is, isn't it? It is just the same as any other job. I'm just
But you don't
trying to
giving-
get by.
Yeah.
You know?
And also, I
Yeah.
guess it's the kind of job where you're giving a lot of yourself to the job.
Yeah.
You know, in a personal way. Whereas like an accountant, when he gets a family, doesn't have to change his accounting. It's not suddenly have to, he doesn't have to change his like accounting
What am I
style.
doing wrong here? What am
Yeah.
I doing? I keep spelling boobs on the
Yeah.
calculator. Why am I not a good fucking
Yeah,
accountant?
exactly.
Right. Yeah,
exactly.
sure.
How do you like to write? Do you
I don't. I don't like to write.
Okay.
No,
Do you have an hour and then lose the hour, and then, or do you do it 5-minute increments, or do you do it pen and paper?
I go for walks.
Okay.
I got told to do it, like when I was younger, I got told by a couple of comics to just do it 5 minutes by 5 minutes. Because then you got 5 minutes, and then you write another 5 minutes, and then you put those together, and then you got 10, and then you're piecing it together piece by piece. Like, that's good. And that also works very well for like open mic nights, because a lot of those are like 5 to 7 minute spots anyway, so that's good. So you can go and sort of practice that and workshop it and everything, and then you can sort of piece it all together.
There's one just random thing I want to ask. So when you were doing the comedy channel, when you were like hosting on Foxtel for all those years, you did a spot with Peter Powers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it legit?
Okay, so
Because I'm so curious. My preamble is this to this, is that because I've seen him so many times.
Yeah.
And I just find it, and because I think I saw someone talking about it on TV a couple of times where they were talking fairly candidly.
Yeah.
And I was like, that can't be real, because I know I've done hypnosis before.
Yeah.
And you don't just like, and now you speak German,
I know, right? I know. Man, it's so... Okay, it's bullshit.
Completely.
But the thing is, maybe it's not, because this is the thing. The whole time he was putting me under, I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm not gonna go on that. Just fucking not gonna do this shit. I'm not gonna fucking do this. He's gonna make me do something stupid. I bet he is. He's gonna do it. And then you go, boom, here, do something stupid. I'm like, okay. And you just fucking do it. In your mind, you're like, I'm just gonna do it anyway. And it's like, they're filming you, there's this pressure of television, you feel like that, and then so in it, everything he says is just like a good idea, and it's kind of like you're just doing an improv. Because I always found that really weird too. I was just sitting there the whole time just wondering, what's he done to his wife? Do you know what I mean? She's not interested in doing certain things in the boudoir.
sleep.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You love threesomes, go. At the end of the day, like, people want to come and see comedy to have a laugh and forget about all their bullshit.
Not to be offended.
And well, fuck them not to be offended. If you get offended, fuck off. Go get a different fucking hobby. Stop watching comedy. Because you're going to get offended, you fucking wuss. Oh, wusses out there are now fucking triggered, sorry. Find yourself first and then find your audience. That's it.
So, Unreal Estate, maybe a second season coming out, maybe touring next year.
Maybe. All
around the traps.
maybes. You live your life living a life of maybes. Yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Cheers.